Howdy, folks. I will be reading the actual words in an old newspaper. Today's newspaper is the Oregon State Journal from Eugene City, Oregon, with the date March 3rd, 1883. A brave man, the determined and successful fight of an express manager. The boldest attempt to rob a railroad train in the West, which met with no success, was made at Montello Station on the Central Pacific, January 21st. Aaron Ross, the hero of the attack, has been in the employ of the Wells Fargo and Company since 1867. And this is the third unsuccessful attempt which has been made to rob the express matter while under his charge. 11 years ago, while guarding the treasure coach on the Montana line of stages, he was jumped by a gang of road agents, but shooting several, he got away from the rest of the crowd. This last attempt has seldom been equaled anywhere for the boldness and persistency of the robbers and stubbornness of the defense. When interviewed, Ross said, "We left Toano on time and I checked the way bills received at that station, lay down and went to sleep. The next thing which I was aware was a rap on the car door, as if an agent had called, and supposing the train was at Tacoma, I got up and went to the door, opened it, and looked out, when a man pointed a gun at me and said, 'Hop out, we're going through you.' I jumped back, pulled the door, and hooked it. They then went over to the opposite side of the car and said, 'Open up the door and jump out. We are going to rob the train.' I replied, 'Just wait until I get my boots on.' 'Never mind your boots. Hop right out here and we will get through on you, and then you can get your boots on.' After pulling my boots on, I drew my kit chest around and threw my blankets on top of it. Again the men said, 'Open up or we will burn you out and murder you.' I then got in position and shot through the side of the car." Nothing was said or done for a few minutes until one of the robbers asked, "Ain't you going to open up the door and come out?" I told them I was not coming out. Then I heard them walk under and around the car, and another demand was made for me to hop out. I made no reply to that. Then they stationed one man at each corner of the car, between me and the baggage car, and 5 shots were fired simultaneously from different quarters, all ranging toward the center of the car. These were the shots that struck me, one in the finger, one on the hip, and one just below the breast near the pocket watch. Then they got up to the end of the car and uncoupled the train. At this time, they heard number 2, the westbound express train, coming. They backed our train up and went on the side track and sent 2 men down to meet number 2. When it came up, I heard the conductor, Clement, ask Cason, "What are you doing here?" "I want to speak to you." The robbers aimed their guns at Clement's head and told him to pull out, and he pulled out. The robbers then returned to the train, and one of them tried to get on the front end of the car and upon the roof. I fired in that direction as near as I could calculate where he was, and he dropped down on the platform. Then all was quiet for a few minutes. They went down to the water tank, got the engineer and brakeman, brought them back, and made the brakeman uncouple my car from the baggage car. They commenced breaking in both doors with coal picks, besides firing several shots into the car. I never moved or said a word, but kept waiting for them to come in. Presently they gave up the attempt to get in by the use of the coal picks and left and went down to the engine. Ordered the engineer to back down on the express car as hard as he could. When the mail car struck the express car, both doors of the latter sprung open the length of the chain. That left me unprotected in my rear, and I got up and went to the other end of the car to pile up some boxes, but thinking it would take too much time, I closed the doors instead and hooked them. They next backed down on me again, and again the doors flew open. I immediately closed them. Now they left my car and went down to get some wood from the engine. The fireman told them that there was no wood, or only 2 or 3 sticks. They then went to the section house, and on coming back for the 3rd time said, "Ain't you gonna hop out?" Then they backed down on my car again, but it was not a very heavy bump, as the engine did not have very much steam. Then they asked Kaysen how long it would be before another train would arrive. He told them that another train from the east would be in 30 minutes. They left us and rode off. The gang numbered 7, and they had 9 horses. The number of passengers on board in the sleeping cars and coaches was very small, and the money in the express car amounted to about $600. Wells Fargo and Company offered a reward of $500 per man and all expenses. The state authorities of Nevada offered $250 per man additional. After firing, the robbers crawled from under the express car and coming toward the mail car were overheard to say, "Before we shot the light out, I saw 2 of them in the car." "It don't make any difference," said the captain of the gang. "If it's 1 or 2, he's a plucky blank of a blank." Freud's Corset House, the Corset Emporium of America. Our corsets combine grace, comfort, and economy. Save money by buying at dealers' prices. We will sell you any article for family or personal use in any quantity at wholesale price. Whatever you want, send for our catalog free. Montgomery Ward and Company. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like your own copy of this Montgomery Ward's catalog, you can find it at Amazon. I put a handy link in my descriptions. It has now become fashionable in eastern cities to get married as early as 6 o'clock in the morning. This gives a fellow a long day to repent in. Rufus M. Robinson's residence was entered Thursday evening, and while the family were away from home, and robbed of $30 or $40 in money. Or Marshal, I hereby announce myself as a candidate for the office of City Marshal. James Moore. Stop him. Henry Owen is in a terrible fix. He has lost his favorite hound. He wants every man, woman, and child in the country to go looking for that dog, and says the person returning the lop-eared cur to him will receive a pension for life. The dog is a black hound with yellow legs and dew claws, and is wearing a leather collar with a ring on it. $10 will be paid the person returning the dog to Mr. Owen.